So we're going to be unboxing the A9G. As you guys can see at the bottom here, we've got the clips that will make it really easy. You just kind of pinch and pull, and that'll also make it easy to reseal the box later on if you decide to repack it and move somewhere else versus having to duct tape your TV. So that'd be really nice. Now a quick little note about these clips. As you guys can see, they're included, and this is the 55-inch version, which you guys can see right there, 55 inches. This is not something they do on their other 55-inch TVs. They just rely on a little strap, two-strap system where you have to cut it with scissors. And it's a way of kind of downgrading the unboxing experience. Maybe petty for some, but it's something to mention. Once you pull the top off, you'll find this piece right here, which is the stand. And you'll find a bunch of other little pieces here, and also varying pieces at the top. It's just wrapped in plastic. They had a little piece of cardboard around the top, but again, nothing too robust or anything like that as far as how they packed it. Now looking at all the stuff they have laid out here, you've got the back of the TV, that kind of backing. You've got the stand here, which is a nice metal stand. You've got more plastic pieces here, right? You got brochure stuff. You've got the nice metal remote like you're supposed to have. You've got your batteries there, a couple zip ties. You've got this piece right here, which is going to require you screwing it in. Not the most fun or easy thing out there. So if you were considering this versus the A8H, this is probably going to be a lot more of a hassle than the A8H. No screws on the A8H, which is very nice. You have the detachable power cable, so that's very nice. All you do is plug it in and remove it. So it's not built in like the A8H. So that's where you're starting to see the pros and cons kind of come into play here. Now to put this stand together, it's a little annoying, but you just got to match these holes up with these little dots right here. You just kind of sit it on there. Do the same thing on the other side. Once you have these things lined up, you just drop your screws down and the corresponding holes, as you guys see here. I'm doing it right here. And then you just make sure you have a long screwdriver, otherwise this is going to be pretty annoying. Then you just start screwing it in. Make sure it's nice and tight. And that's pretty much it for the stand assembly part. From there, all you want to do is line your screw hole up and just push it in like so. And then you drop your screws right down there. It's kind of hard to see, but just down in there. Now, a special note about these screw holes. The idiots at Sony thought it'd be a good idea to make them really, really tiny, and it's going to be really hard for you to see that, but essentially you're going to spend a good amount of time fumbling around if you have big fingers trying to get your screws in there. So just be careful, because it could be problematic if you have bigger fingers. Now, as far as all this other stuff goes, the back plates and all that stuff, I won't be putting that stuff on for the sake of time and all that. I won't be using all these various covers that I really honestly don't need for the sake of finishing the installation process. But if you want, you can put that back piece on to make it smoother and cleaner in the back, and same with all these other pieces. Line them up with their corresponding spots. It's not going to be that hard to figure out, but for the sake of time, I figured screw it. I'm not going to mess with it. Also, fair warning, if you're somebody that likes to recycle or save the earth in that kind of way, you will have basically a landfill of plastic, so just kind of be mindful of that. There's a lot of plastic. Then from there, you just want to make sure you plug in your power cable, which you'll find right here. Nothing too crazy. And this is why I didn't put the backing on, so I have access to that kind of thing. I don't want to cover port over that or over my HDMIs over here so that I can't reach them, or on the sides here where I can't reach any of my other ports. So that's why I left that stuff off. But again, if you just want to cover all that stuff off, you can find the corresponding spots, and again, it shouldn't be too hard to do. Now that we're in the dark, we're going to turn the TV on for the first time. Turns on both TVs. So I've got to turn off the other one. Alright, so it says, welcome. You choose your region. It's going to ask you if you want to set up with an Android phone or tablet. I'm just going to skip that part. In typical fashion, Google forces their terms of service on you, so if you don't want to submit right out of the gate, just box it up and take it right back to the store, because there's no way to enjoy this TV without giving in to Google's terms of service, which is crap. So yeah, have no choice but to say accept. They're going to ask you location. No, I'm not going to do that. Help them improve their Android service. They can shove it up their ass. Don't really care. Then we're just going to do a general name for that. And then we're just going to select all this extra stuff. We're just going to keep going all the way through the prompts. Then it's going to bring up our region again. We select yes. Now the bravia policy, as you guys see when you scroll all the way down to the bottom, they give you the option to agree to all, or you can just straight up proceed, which is how it should be for Google, but Sony apparently hasn't gotten the memo, and neither has Google. Then we go to next. As they do the voice recognition, we're just going to skip the TV tuner program side of things, and then it says setup complete, where we hit done. And now it takes us to the home page. There's no like fancy startup or anything like that, just dives right in. Now from experience, I suspect that the fact that it just dove right in and didn't have some sort of startup screen of some kind makes me think this was not a brand new OLED and probably something secondhand that they sold as brand new. Maybe I'm being crazy. We'll have to test it out and really figure that part out, but so far I'm not seeing any signs of it being used at all. It actually appeared very brand new, right down to factory wrapping everywhere, so I really can't say. Maybe they messed with it at the factory, or maybe it just doesn't have a startup. So if you have an A9G, let me know if you had a startup screen of any kind once you cleared this, like I had on the A8H. Alright, so now I'm just going to show you a little quick demonstration of what the picture quality is like. We're going to open up our picture settings, which of course, because this is the new X1 Ultimate chipset, like the idiot Sony wants to be, they make you go into Edit, and then you have to toggle on picture settings to even have access to the picture settings. Then we can finally go on over into the picture settings and defeat light sensor and game mode, which I hate when they automatically choose for me. I'm not an idiot, I can handle it myself. I like to go straight on over into cinema because that's where the most accurate picture quality will live. Then we defeat that. I go down into motion and I make sure to ramp my soap opera effect up because I absolutely love it. I'm sure many people have their own opinions about that. It's subjective, that's just the way I do it. Then under clearness, it's set to low and it only goes to high. There is no off. So that's very similar to the A8G in that regard, where you just can't defeat it no matter what you try to do. And you have smooth gradation. I'll just go ahead and bump that to high because we don't want any banding. And then that's pretty much it. There's not a whole lot to do. We'll probably defeat live color later on as we start actually adjusting it. But these are the default settings that they have so far. But the biggest one that I like to do is immediately run on over into the BT 2020 and get that juicy, tasty color that I love so much from Sony. And already it's looking a whole heck of a lot better. Little green though in the hues, if I do say so myself. So that might be something that I have to correct later. I don't know how much of that overly green hue is picking up on screen, but it appears as though it's just overly green and definitely very far from being what one would call reference accurate. But again, I'm not really looking for that right now. I'm just trying to get an idea of baseline picture quality without experience to calibrate or tune a display. Is this an acceptable picture? I think it needs some work for sure. It's definitely hitting way less intensely than the Sony A8H, but I feel as though there's also more room for improvement here with the A8G, given it's not as cool as the A8G was. So I feel like, as opposed to where the A8H tries to make you do like a vivid mode for everything, I feel like this TV is going to try to make things a lot warmer, and you can maybe get around that with some custom settings. But so far, that's pretty much the unboxing process. There's really not a lot to it. It's not crazy difficult. A lot of plastic. The hardest part is putting the screws down into the stand. That's going to be the most annoying thing that you're going to run into because they really just designed it like total crap, and that's just as real as it gets. But hopefully this shows you guys some idea of what the picture quality can be. Make sure you leave your requests so that I can put out those awesome videos you guys look forward to. And yes, to my A8H guys, I will be making settings for the A8H with this particular TV, the Sony A9G, since the request was so high. So either way, it should work for your TV as well. And we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. Thank you guys so much for watching the #1 brand in honesty. Until the next video, I'll see you guys later.